Technical difficulties over the last few weeks. As you guys have probably noticed from week to week over the last, well, probably 6 to 8 weeks, we've been
2 years.
Yeah, we've been very much closer to 3 actually, but
that's fair.
You know,
that's fair.
We've been very much under construction for the last little while. The WAN show has actually been physically moving around from week to week quite frequently. This is incredible. Twitch has now implemented a feature where the ad that plays before the stream cannot be paused.
Or muted.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Twitch, for that. Wow. Anyway.
Thanks for, like, basically making everyone install AdBlock.
Yeah. Anyway. Moving on, so we've been very much under construction, and you'll probably notice a huge difference between the way we have it set up this week and the way we had it set up last week. Hopefully you guys like it, and if you don't, the people in the pre-show know what I think of that, because I personally think it looks great. There's still a few things that we're gonna tweak, like the positions of things on the shelves, and like, I wanna get an actual shock mount for this microphone instead of just having it sitting on a folded up shirt.
Can it just be like a little coil that shocks people whenever they try to move it?
No, because if we're going to take it really literally, shock mount could have some pretty scary sorts of meanings there. Anyway, we've got a great show for you guys today. Pebble there's 2 different definitions of shock that both work well. That was a multi-level dirty sort of toilet humor joke.
I think I actually thought of the second one.
I mean, are sex jokes really toilet humor? Unless you have sex on a toilet, then
Which is not recommended, but possible.
But possible. It's like, no, really, I got pregnant from the toilet seat. Also, there was, like, another person
there. So...
What is this show about? Pebble
toilet seats
has introduced their first round smartwatch. What an innovation.
We should just actually host a WAN show only about toilet seats.
No, we shouldn't. Volkswagen. Oh, speaking of things that are in the toilet, Volkswagen stock. They've been ordered to recall 500,000 cars. That's the initial news that broke, but it's going deeper than that. So we're going to be discussing that on the show today. Apple to release the D jack, which
I think I have that patented.
Is almost as almost as dirty as it sounds. And North America is straight up out of IPv4 addresses. For real this time. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a great show. You guys see how smooth that was?
It worked.
That's what happens when I actually set aside like an hour before the show to set up, and then we start like 40 minutes late.
Formatted the system.
No, we still need to format the system, but everything else about it is set up. This system is so freaking borked. Like, oh, here, you know what? No. I'm gonna
show them the thing.
No. I'll show them.
It's so good.
Okay. So guys, this is gonna be good. Hold on. Let me just make sure there's no like, nothing that I can be sued for on screen here. You guys are gonna love this though. Okay, so add screen capture.
That's for you.
Let's do the whole screen here. All right, here we go, buddies. This is some good stuff right here. So check this out.
Just like, awesome.
What is that? what even is that?
And where'd they go?
Where are they?
And then they're gonna come back at some point.
Yeah.
And then there's like this one missing.
Yeah, and like what is this? This is nothing. It's nothing. It's just nothing. And that's just one of the many completely broke dick things.
Oh yeah.
About this Windows install.
And that's just like weird. There's ones that are really bad.
Well, the thing is I think when you get enough blue screens on a system,
something just starts to bit rot, whatever.
Yeah,
things happen.
Things just decay, and this is one decayed. It's not bit rot.
Well, decay.
Okay, whatever. This is a broken Windows install. It takes forever to boot up on an
Oh,
SSD.
yeah. Yep.
And it actually has like nothing installed on it. Like webcam drivers, video
Just
chat.
when you blue screen like 2 times every single time you run the computer.
Yeah, then you're basically asking for trouble. But no, the stream's not gonna blue screen because we are running off.
You stuttered on the blue screen.
I know.
Because
I wasn't
it's
sure.
so scary.
I wasn't sure if I should say it or not.
Do we have wood? Is this even real wood?
I don't know. It's MDF.
It's worth it.
Knock on MDF. So because the Blackmagic cards that caused the stream to blue screen are both working now. Luke's bringing his wood over. His massive wood.
Knock.
All right, so we're good. We're good. People are like, bet the RAM is bad. No, it has nothing to do with bad RAM. It has to do with the drivers for our Blackmagic capture cards not liking anything. Well, no, more specifically, not liking themselves and their life. So should we like do a show? I guess.
Nah.
I guess we should do a show. All right, so our first topic
tried.
is oh, this is interesting. Hold on, wait. Yes, I need the other mouse though. I got this. Minus screen. Boom! Yay, things are working today. It's not going to be that day. So a new face for Pebble. It started with a text 7 years ago, something, etc., etc. All right, let's just pop this baby up. Okay, whatever. Show us the watch, man. Okay, so we had square watches before. Look at that. It's amazing. It's actually kind of rounded, so I don't know how, I don't know if it's really strictly speaking square. But this is it. The Pebble Time Round. Oh, it keeps going back to that.
He looks like me, but with fuzzy hair.
You know, you actually have, like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
You're going to say a really generic face? Because everyone sends me Twitter things. You look like this dude. And I'm like...
A lot of the time, I can kind of see it.
I know.
You have like kind of that.
I never thought that until I got this job, and then everyone just tells me that I look like everyone.
Yeah, like
Oh.
I can kind of see it. You're like, well, you're kind of the blue-eyed, blonde-haired, like guy with kind of the rugged sort of face. I don't want to say. Okay, well, no, I'll say ruggedly handsome face.
Okay.
With the rugged face.
Usually. It looks like someone just drove a truck over your face.
Yeah, it's like, you know, man, it's rugged.
Your face looks like it could go through a war.
Yeah, your face looks like it could be a tire.
Probably like IP67.
So there we go. This is the Pebble Time Round. Basically, it's got the same processing on board as the Steel. It is hyper thin. It is round, and they have an SDK out for app developers to allow them to convert their applications to the round face, which is the only real difference because they haven't changed a bunch of the other hardware. What they did do is they nerfed the battery life pretty hardcore. What's up?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
I didn't know that. That sucks.
Because it's thin now.
I don't care. I was talking to someone the other day. This is probably a bad idea because I'm
Talking to people?
Well, yes, but I'm gonna say an idea that I want to have for a video.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if you'd let me do it anyways. But I want to do a review of modern phones, and during the review, I want the phone that's in my hand to constantly change the whole time. And I want it to be like, it has a great screen. It'll run all the apps you want just fine. It'll run
generic
all your games
phone review?
just fine. It's nice and thin. The buttons are really good. The headphone jack works really well. The speakers are kind of meh, and it's going to be way too easy to block them, and they're not in the right spot.
Transfer speeds at USB 2 over a wire.
Yeah,
okay.
All this kind of stuff. And then, but the battery's shit. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. I want to do that video so bad because honestly, it's pretty accurate for like everything.
I think we could do that. But you know what? The thing about the round is that you can get another day of battery life.
Oh yeah. It's so thin that I don't care anymore.
Right.
And that happened a long time ago, and it could be thicker. But
It kind of did.
Yeah.
It kind of did. Yeah. There's some good news though. You can get a day's worth of battery in 15 minutes. However, my issue with Pebble continues to be that they use a proprietary charger So the problem is not how long it takes to charge. The problem is that I have to actually be where my charging cable is, which for me is on my nightstand. So if I'm traveling or whatever, the fact that I can charge it up for a day worth of battery in 15 minutes, except that I don't have my cable, is actually not that helpful. And the fact that they keep changing the cable all the time, like every generation, they just change the cable.
Need to learn from, who is it? Who does it really well? PlayStation? I think it's PlayStation's cable has like never changed.
Yeah, but the compatibility is broken.
Oh.
Yeah, that's worse.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
when it comes to like 7 deadly sins, okay, when we talk about cables, because this is something people talked about a lot with Intel. LGA 775. So this was a time when AMD was changing their CPU socket, it seemed like every year, okay? So we had socket A, okay, 462. Then we got socket 940 on the Enthusiast platform for FX, which was essentially the server socket, but like there was like 2 CPUs, and someone's gonna correct me, I don't care. The point, I think we got the FX 51 and 53 and maybe 55 for that socket, but it's not the point. So then we got socket 754 at the same time. That was like single channel memory and the consumer version. And then both of those went away on the consumer, except 940 was still there on the server, and then we got 939 on the desktop. And then we went from 939 to, I wanna say AM2, and then we got AM2 Plus and AM3. So AMD has done this weird, anyway, this was back in the 939 to AM2 days. And everyone was criticizing AMD, going, they keep changing their CPU socket. I have no upgrade path. Intel's had LGA 775 for like 5 years, or however long they had it. The problem is that the intercompatibility from one 775 board to another 775 chip across generations was terrible. Like, it was awful. It changed as often or more as AMD's socket did. At least with AMD, it was clear. You buy a 939 chip, you put it in a 939 socket, it works. With Intel, you buy a 775 chip, you plug it in, and you cross your fingers and your toes, and you pray to whatever deity it is you believe in, and maybe it'll turn on. And a lot of the time, the compatibility is more complicated than that, because maybe even if it doesn't turn on, you can, like, I don't know, find a buddy who has a last gen chip and put that in and flash the BIOS, and then maybe the new chip will work, but maybe, like, not quite as optimally. Come on! So
that was my favorite part, was hunting for someone who had the right chip.
So you could do a BIOS update.
Just horrible.
Oh. So anyway, that's still a complaint. However, one thing I will say about this super slim design that I do think has a value is my wife looked at it, immediately said, oh, that's way better. So I have been critical.
But how long does it... They hit a very good thinness with that, I will agree, but how long does it last?
I think it's like 2 to 3 days or something like that.
Okay, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's still not a 1-day battery.
That's good.
Give me just a, like, I am forgetting how long it's, yeah, there you go, 2-day battery life. So it's still better than what you're gonna get out of an Apple Watch. And I've been really critical of other smartwatch makers, pretty much everyone but Apple, for not making like a properly functional smartwatch. Because there have been devices.
Did you say everyone but Apple?
Yeah. I think the Apple Watch looks great on a lady's wrist.
Oh, I heard something else.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Where was I going with this? Right, so I've been really critical of everyone but Apple for not making a properly functional smartwatch that's actually not gonna look weird on my wife. So now that Pebble's doing it, I can't rip into them for reducing the battery capacity because you have to make trade-offs. And I know there have existed smartwatches and wearable devices that are like fashion accessories, but the functionality on them is so bad. It's like, you know, it all comes down to what sort of margin a company is used to making, okay? So when when a computer company comes out with a new smart accessory and it's priced at X, you're gonna have like, let's say Y amount of functionality built into it because they're reserving this much for them to just make money.
Yeah, and you need to pay other people like distributors and the guy that actually sells it to you.
When a shoe company comes in and makes a smart accessory, their expectation for how much is left over at the end is much higher. So you get like this crummy functionality with a rubbish screen. Sorry? Oh, where'd the overlay go? That's weird.
What?
The watermark.png has disappeared. That's fine. I can work with that. So they're going to have a certain expectation for how much margin that they're making. And that is exactly the problem, is that these companies are going to think that they should be making, 200% on a watch.
Clothing rates.
Yeah, clothing, jewelry, fashion brands are pretty much up their own butts in terms of what they think that their vision is worth. And they tend to kind of ignore the practical stuff.
Yeah.
So,
like perfume and cologne and all that kind of, like a lot of things in those categories are like that. I think he just said clothing, fashion, and jewelry because those are the companies that are kind of getting into smartwatches now.
yes, exactly. So I don't know where our normal lower third is.
Since we haven't changed it in forever.
I cannot find it.
No.
Why is my life sad? I really need to reformat this computer. Don't let me run the show next week until this computer is formatted.
We're never gonna run the show then.
Hey! That's not a nice thing to say. All right.
Show face fade away.
There we go. And then I think there's like, I don't even know where the upper right corner thing is. Like where is that? Does anyone know? I don't think anyone knows.
Maybe it's called Watermark? Why don't you just use the search?
Was it in Watermark?
I don't know.
Was there one called Watermark?
Search.
General assets, WAN watermark, top left, .png. Yay! Hey, look at that. That's not a technical difficulty, is it? Is that a strike?
I think so.
Do we have a 3 strikes rule?
No.
Can we have a 6 strikes rule?
15?
15 strikes?
We need a lot of strikes here.
Yeah, all right.
3's not going to cut it. 6 may be okay. 6 sounds about good.
All right. So anyway, that watch is aiming to ship somewhere in the time frame of November 10th. And honestly, I'm considering buying one. I'll pick one up for the wifey because she works in a pharmacy. And in the pharmacy, they have like a no phones rule. But it would certainly be nice to be...
Wow. You're just circumventing outdated policies.
Yes. So it would be nice to... And it's funny because like around here, we're a very tech-savvy employer at Linus Media Group. Like if people are on their phones at work, I'm not giving them a hard time about it because I understand that your phone is like pretty much your life, unless their job function really has nothing to do with their phone and they're on it a lot. Because I consider things like tweeting while you're at the office about the things that we're doing, I consider that sort of work. So, but in a pharmacy, I also understand this. You can't really call it an outdated policy. I can't think of any reason why a technician who's counting pills...
outdated because it didn't include smartwatches.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Other form of outdated.
Right. So anyway, the point is, if there's an emergency with the kids or whatever, it's nice to be able to get through to her, even if she can't message me back. I don't expect her to use things like, voice response functionality because she's also the manager. So the harder she tries to circumvent the rules, the more terrible that looks. But yes, it's nice to be able to, just be like, hey, this, or whatever. Hey, can you pick up something? She works at Costco, so like there's usually something I want her to buy. I just ate 2 bags of those awesome dried mangoes. Please get me 2 more bags. Actually make it 3. It's a Friday.
It's this Friday. Make it 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's been a rough day. Do you want to just do that?
Nope.
Okay.
Apparently not.
You're putting it off?
Apparently for now, because something's not working.
Great.
So, yeah. It's like the most minor of all the things, and it's the one that's not working, but it kind of needs to be set up for everything to go smoothly.
All right.
Everything will go without it, but not smoothly.
So this has been huge news over the last week. VW was basically found to be cheating on their US emission standards tests. The cars were detecting if they were being tested, and they were reducing their output by as much as 40 times, or they were outputting 1/40th during testing, and then they were ramping it up 40 times on the road. This is on their diesel cars, and not all of them, but it was ones with their 4-cylinder diesel engine. And so basically what this means is the car performed better for owners, which
it depends how you define performed better.
Right. It felt peppier when you press the gas pedal.
Yes, yeah.
But they were turning off their emissions control systems in order to achieve this. So their shares have dropped. Oh, this is like being updated in like real time. Their shares have dropped approximately 35%. So if you believe that Volkswagen is going to pull out of this, okay, with all the usual disclaimers, I don't know anyone who works at Volkswagen. Linus Media Group has never collaborated with Volkswagen. I do not own any shares in Volkswagen. I don't own any shares in anything. So take this as the...
Yes, you do.
In what? Oh, well, in this company. No, like publicly traded shares.
You
like
still own shares.
On a stock market. I don't own any shares of any publicly traded companies. Okay? So take this for the ignorance that it is. If you believe that Volkswagen will recover, now might be a nice time to buy, because that strategy has worked for many people in the past. However, the difference between bad news about a product and bad news about the potential $18 billion fine that Volkswagen could be paying in the US alone. So we're talking $37,500 per affected vehicle, of which there are 500,000.
Which is higher than the value than a whole bunch of those that were recalled.
So factor that in. Now, the bad news gets worse. Volkswagen is being investigated in other territories as well. And
Canada being Canada, will probably just do the exact same thing that the States did.
And it's not just Volkswagen either. So this is great. The BMW X3 xDrive 20D exceeds European standards by a shocking 11 times. The only reason that 11 times doesn't sound that bad in this context is that Volkswagen was exceeding the US standards by 40 times. So, yeah. BMW has issued a denial of any manipulation, saying there's no difference in the treatment of exhaust emissions, whether they are on test rollers or on the road. Although VW has admitted it, their CEO has stepped down, and they are in for some serious hot water.
Apparently there's 2 watermarks now.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know which is which. Oh, wow, there's 2 lower thirds. What is happening?
I don't know.
I hate this.
Take the prettier one.
Okay. This is not a second strike. This is the same issue.
They just like disappeared for a little while?
I don't know what's happening, but it's fine now. Shut up, all of you.
What?
Especially you. Anyway. BMW's X5 was looked at by the West Virginia University and EPA as part of investigations into the issue. It passed. It's important to note that almost every car has higher real-world emissions than their laboratory results. There are so many things that are like that. Let's talk about, Wi-Fi speeds, hey?
No.
Real world, nothing to do with lab results. Do they advertise the, perfect world, no overhead test results? Yes. Should they be allowed to? Probably not. But is that the world we live in? Yes.
Yeah. That happens for tons of stuff.
So the UK government has stated that today they will be launching their own vehicle emissions testing following the US's findings. Oh, so this is very much an emerging story. We might even be talking about this again next week, but I think what's safe to say at this point in time is that there is one vehicle maker who has nothing to worry about.
Tesla.
The safest way to not exceed your rated emissions is to have no emissions whatsoever.
Didn't they release an ad, like, trolling them or something?
Oh,
is that in
probably.
Here? I think they did. I don't know if this is actually about that. But yeah, there's a Tesla no emissions ad that it's like the best way to pass an emissions test is to, or this whole car is an emissions test destroying machine or something. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, I don't know if this is actually from Tesla or anything. This just looks like
yeah.
So there you go. So 0 emissions means they could not possibly get into any kind of hot water here. So there you go, guys. If you have an affected car, there's a forced recall in the US, but stay tuned because things are going to get really interesting worldwide over the next, I mean, this could take months. This could take easily months, potentially years, to finally be resolved. So
if we're going to weigh in on stock things, my opinion might be to not necessarily do it now, wait till they get hit by a few more countries.
But then, then
people might go like, oh, I should buy now because it's really low, and then it's going to go up, and then it might not fall as far as it went up.
Yeah, people might be trying to hold for the long term. Like, we don't know. We don't play stocks, so
literally not at all.
Yeah. And I will say that I straight up don't do it because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep, me too.
All right, Apple to release the D. The original article here is from Apple Insider.
It's salty and creamy at the same time.
What the hell? That leaves nothing to the imagination.
Yeah, it does. Marmite was salty and creamy.
That's true. That was awful.
That was really bad.
Marmite is terrible.
It's really gross.
To all of our
Apparently,
Australian viewers.
What you're supposed to do is spread it very thinly over toast.
What is the point?
And we like lathered it. Well, it's kind of like if you took...
By the way, people have been complaining about this. You sit back like this when you're going to talk for a while.
And then I can't hear it? Okay, my bad. If you took like a massive amount of... Wow, yeah, nothing's really that bad. Butter. If you took so much butter that it was that thick and put it on top of a pizza,
it's like putting. Disgusting. It's like, well, yeah, but no one would ever put butter on pizza.
But no one would ever put Marmite on pizza.
But some people claim that they would.
Who?
Dennis was saying he thinks it would be good with...
But Dennis is so weird.
I know.
I don't think Dennis is fair in this conversation.
This is the guy that literally, like, spits out a banana when he tries to take a bite of a chocolate-covered insect that really...
is not that bad.
Wasn't that bad. Did you eat one?
No, I have way in the past.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like it wasn't...
some little kid party when I was a little kid.
Like, it grossed me out because I kind of have a bug phobia. Yeah. So when I crunched into it, it was like it made my whole body go, ah! Like, no, I can't do this.
Crunchy and chocolate.
Yeah, but like the taste wasn't that bad.
No. And then Marmite, I'm sitting here, like I folded up my pizza because I was trying to get it over as fast as possible. And then when I bit into it, it all squished out onto my tongue at the same time. So that was the wrong idea. I screwed up. And I'm like basically hurling in the corner. Meanwhile, Dennis is like, this is great. Like,
I even had to ask him. I was like, would you put Marmite on it just normally and just eat it? And he's like, no, maybe less.
Yeah, less. Like, yeah. He was like, oh, well, not this much.
You're killing me here, man. Marmite. Yay or nay? Where were we going with this?
I don't know. We were talking about creamy, salty things.
Creamy, salty things. Right. Okay. So I wanna throw this to you guys first. So we got a straw poll. We got a straw poll going here. Marmite, yay or nay? And we should give some context for that. We had to have pizza with Marmite for an upcoming channel Super Fun.
And Dragon's Fury hot sauce.
Yeah, that was interesting too. What I'll say about this upcoming channel Super Fun is that I literally had to lie down for 10 minutes, about an hour after we filmed it, to just let my stomach get its crap together, so to speak.
I felt really gross. Oh, wow. Oh, no. I felt really gross, and honestly, I think it was more because of the Marmite.
Yeah, it was a terrible experience. So let's talk about Apple's new connector. Now, this is funny, because I am pretty sure that we have straight up talked about this on the show before. How, like, there's going to be a limit to how thin Apple can go because you still need a headphone jack. No. This is their new patented plug design that has a D-like profile. So basically, you're going to take your D jack, you're going to plug it into your phone receptacle, and in theory, there should be no issues with adapting the D-shaped cavity jack to a regular round pair of headphones, or adapting your round pair of headphones to a D-shaped jack. But I really have to kind of, like, remember that rumor that Apple was going to convert their phones to use the Lightning connector for audio?
Yes.
That hasn't happened, but this almost feels even stupider because you're basically just forcing people to throw, for the sake of elegance, you're forcing a lot of people to use adapters. And I know there's going to be the millions of people out there buying Beats and plugging their Beats into this with their stupid proprietary closed ecosystem ridiculous thing, but
at the same time,
it really is pretty annoying to me.
Would you prefer have the Lightning connector be taken over anytime you wanted to use headphones? Or would you prefer being able to plug two things in and have one of them be a weird proprietary?
You know what? Nothing. Use a 3.5mm
and
jack.
Don't make your phone thinner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your phone is
Make
thin
your phone thicker.
enough.
Put more battery. Please.
I mean, it's one of those things. This is what drives me crazy.
The camera bump's just going to be bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, the thinner you go, the bigger your camera bump. So this is what drives me crazy. This is what it takes, okay, for an Android phone to deliver the experience that I want, which is me using it pretty much as I want for an entire day. And the problem with Android is that its idle power management is
really bad.
So poor. You take an Android phone with an app loadout, okay? It doesn't count to just take it out of the box and put it down and go, haha, see, it only lost 7% battery today. Not good enough. Take an Android phone that actually has apps on it.
One that you actually use.
Yeah. Put it aside for like a day and it'll have lost 20 to 30% battery, which is terrible. My iPad or my iPhone loses like 2% per day. My iPad can sit for 2 weeks without me touching it and still have like 40% on the battery. It's actually usable by the time I get back to it. So I want Apple's battery life management, but I also want a legitimately high capacity battery, because that's the problem with the iPhone. If, heaven forbid, you dare to use it to navigate somewhere, it's just instantly dead. Like, I can drain an iPhone in 5 hours, 6 hours if I'm using it really heavily. Like if I'm navigating somewhere and I'm talking to somebody on speaker and like you can hit it pretty hard, you can drain it pretty fast. Whereas the Droid Turbo, because it actually has a massive battery, it's not just, power saving tricks and little like voodoo magic that's going on. It actually can be used for a significant portion of the day. So I would love for Apple to do like an iPhone 6 Endurance or 7 Endurance or whatever it takes. And I know you could say that the 6 Plus or the 6S Plus is kind of the Endurance model, but I don't want a phablet. And I especially don't want a phablet that's extremely difficult to hold on to the way that the iPhone 6 Plus is. So anyway, it's not out yet. This is just a patent that they're applying for a headphone jack called the D-Jack.
Yeah.
D-Jack. It's like, what, is Elon Musk running Apple now? Like, really?
I'd prefer it that way.
It looks like the D-Jack might fit in other phones. So it could be, like when you look at the shape, it looks like it could work.
Oh. Interesting.
So maybe it's okay, but I don't know. But you're going to be buying new headphones. And the thing about headphones is I really believe in investing in a great pair of headphones and then using them for a long time. Because frankly, audio technology, it's improving.
I usually swap them out when they break.
Yeah, and that's fine because the HD 600s are still great.
Yep.
And you could buy 650s or 700s, but the 600s are still great. And with IEMs, I would say this is maybe less true. Like over the last 5 years, I don't think there's been a ton of innovation, but in the last 20, there's been a lot.
Yeah.
And
a lot of innovation there is not even necessarily innovation, but things you're seeing available. Inline controls, ribbon cables, nicer fitting things to go in your ears.
Wireless, for example. Oh, speaking of wireless, I I never really told Jaybird that I was thinking of this because I wasn't at the time, but this could work. They offered to send me the X2s because I don't know if you remember this, but I reviewed the Blue Buds X, loved them.
I know someone who bought them and then they broke like right out of their warranty period.
Really?
Yep.
Mine are still going strong. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, at any rate.
I got slammed for that. I was like, I don't even know what these are. Because I never, yeah, don't worry about
So they reached out about sending over the X2s for review, and I was like, we don't do that much audio stuff these days.
Yeah.
Like, Linus Tech Tips is transitioning into more like a show, and there are reviews, but we're kind of saving it for marquee products. Oh. Okay, well, I mean, you guys have probably noticed things like Moving Vlog.
No, we're the most hardcore tech review site on the planet.
Yeah.
We only do motherboard BIOS. We don't
Motherboard-
review anything else.
Motherboard BIOS?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't fired you in a long time.
That's true.
But I think that kind of merits it.
You can't when we're the most hardcore tech review channel on the internet. You can't fire me.
Wow. So anyway, I wasn't sure if I was going to do a review, so I basically said, well, you can send them if you want. No guarantees.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we'll take that. We'll roll that die. And then I also, this was a product that I backed a billion years ago when I was kind of getting into doing IEM videos.
Yeah.
And it's the Dash. Do you remember the Dash?
No.
Okay, so this is a battery-powered in-ear.
Right, yeah.
And it's supposed to have like not necessarily great battery life, but it's supposed to be like super small. So I backed that on like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever ages ago. So I could do a head-to-head.
Cool.
So maybe I'll do that. That should be pretty cool. So I can take the original Blue Buds X, I can take the X2s, and I can take the Dash, and I can play some badminton, and it'll be an excuse to bring a camera crew out and get like some wicked cool like slow-mo footage of me playing badminton. So I go for that. I go for that shot, and like the sweat drips off my forehead.
Can we get like the stupid glamour shots?
Oh, I think we should.
Yeah.
Hey,
I need
Brandon,
to
would
set
that
up
be
properly.
fun? Do you want to come and like hang with me and get some like action footage, like slow-mo action footage, me playing badminton, like testing wireless earbuds? Well, I don't know, whenever. Okay, Brandon's down. So we're totally doing it. What are we talking about? Are you ready to do your thing?
No.
Are you ever going to be ready to do your thing?
Yes.
Not on the show today, though?
Probably.
Probably.
I just gave you like every possible conditional answer, but they were actually accurate. Not ready right now. I will be ready at some point, probably on this show.
So our relationship is complicated.
It is.
As your friend, I could slap you.
Yep.
As your employer, I can't slap you.
So wait.
As your lover, I shouldn't slap you.
But maybe.
But could, if you were into it.
Yeah.
So I'm slapping myself.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was going to say, if you wait 4 minutes, we won't technically be on work time. But we're still on work premises.
Yes. So, and I mean, we could do stuff anywhere.
That's true.
So, speaking of which, I got to get blinds for my office.
Just make lunchtime that much better.
I am finally moving into my office. I have set up the mineral oil computer, much to Luke's sadness.
It's really depressing.
That was the saddest acknowledgement of anything ever. Because he straight up asked, he was like, can I have the oil PC for my workstation?
Like right when we built it.
Yeah.
And then also when we moved in here, and probably a few times in between there.
And so my initial response was, maybe we'll use it as like a set piece or something, because it's super cool looking. And then it just sat on the oven in the kitchen.
Gathering dust, and dust sits in the oil, and then it can cycle into the system.
For literally months. And then finally, he moved in and he asked me again, and I was like, no, I'm using it. And his world was crushed. And I could tell. And it was good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good.
Because I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like the CEO's office, I think, should have like the showpiece.
Technically, if we want to go with like new age companies, the CEO should probably be on the floor with the other employees because it creates a better, more healthy work environment. See, what you're doing, hiding yourself in the top corner, giving yourself a private office, is more archaic. old forms of running companies.
What is
and
this
not
voice?
really efficient for today's management structures.
Okay.
Which are actually more flat than your vertical structure about putting yourself on the top and maybe naming the company after yourself. It's more of an antiquated system. It's not really recommended for starting new companies, but I guess, you know, you could do that.
So this is the same guy that needs me to build him like a fortress of solitude upstairs because he finds having one person...
Or because even though we've been here for months, the library isn't ready.
One person
Or
in
that.
One person in the room with him is too much. I can't focus. I need my own room and I need active noise canceling headphones.
Didn't require my own room. Wanted to do it in the public library. Needed noise canceling headphones. Public library's not ready.
The library actually is pretty much ready to
But
go.
it's
It needs to be
not.
cleed.
Yeah, I've been told to not work in there.
Yeah,
so
it
that
needs
means
to be
it's
tidied
not
up.
ready.
We're almost ready to go. We're almost ready to go in there. So why don't we move on to an actual news topic here? North America is out of IPv4 addresses, and I know that you've been tied up on something else, and you haven't had a ton of time to dock it up here. So why don't I do the quick summary,
Okay.
and then you can talk a little bit about the implications of this. So there it is, for really real this time. There's been an awful lot of crying wolf on this subject over the years. You know, oh, well, we're out of the ones that can be assigned to the assignment authority, or we're out of the ones that can be pre-allocated except in circumstances where we could allocate some more. And no, it is happening, and it is time for everyone to start switching to IPv6. Now, we've actually talked about this on Tech Quickie before, and the complicated thing here is that IPv4 and IPv6, so IPv4 is that up to 12-digit number, okay, with periods every usually 3 digits, okay? And IPv6 is like alphanumeric and longer, and while IPv4 can have something along the lines of, I believe it's 4 billion addresses, IPv6 can literally have enough addresses for like
340 undecillion.
Yeah. So it's something along the lines of
1 followed by 36 zeros.
So I think that's something along the lines of 2 IPv6 addresses for every square inch of Earth, or something like that. Like it's ludicrous. Okay, someone's telling me it's more than that. So the point is that we need to switch, but the problem is that if your website, for example, linusmediagroup.com, is not IPv6, then IPv6 clients can have trouble. And if your website is not backwards compatible with IPv4, then IPv4 clients can have trouble accessing your IPv6 website. They don't talk to each other very well. And there are like interposer methods, but they suck.
Yeah.
So
there's not honestly a ton that you're going to have to worry about. If you're watching this show, I can basically guarantee you your router is able to handle IPv6. Just going to kind of leave it at that. And there's not really a ton else you need to do. If you're watching this show, it's basically a guarantee that your computer is ready for this.
Yes.
And that your network is ready for this.
Most smartphones are ready for this. The issue is really on the website server side and on the internet service provider side.
And again, most of those are going to be fine.
And there are a few things that you're going to have to learn, like if you're working on your LAN, you're probably using IPv4 addresses, 192.168 or 10.20. Whatever. So you're probably going to want to switch to IPv6 addresses, which means there's going to be a bit of a learning curve there.
Yep.
I haven't
They're
actually...
a lot more annoying to remember.
Yes.
Like,
which sucks.
Way more annoying to remember.
Yep. The good news is that if they have a lot of zeros in them, you can actually shorten them, and you don't have to remember the zeros. So that will help a little bit, I guess. And you don't have to deal with subnetting anymore. So, okay. Although 255.255.255.0
is pretty not hard to
which
remember.
Usually auto-populates like every time. Not that big of a deal.
Like every time.
Yeah.
It does.
And unless you're doing more, unless you're kind of like a networking guy or gal, you're really not working with anything more complicated than that anyway. But it's coming.
For networking people, this might change things up.
Tell me this. Are we ready for IPv6?
We might need to change a few things. but it won't be a problem at all.
Okay, well, there you go.
Our like websites and stuff are fine.
Cool.
Yeah. Like internally, if you want to start managing things as IPv6, you'll maybe need to change things.
Right.
But everything else is fine.
This is cool. I just got confirmation I am getting a review sample of the new Moto 360.
Yay!
Yep.
It looks nice.
It does look really nice.
I saw it at Austin's.
Yeah, it's a 60-day unit, so I'll have to send it back even if I really like it, I'll just have to buy one. But, you know, it looks nice.
I think Austin gets to keep his.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. It looks nice. Yeah, I know. It looks nice, but it might be too nice for me.
Oh.
I actually like the kind of sports watch look of the G-Watch R, so I may not want to switch anyway. And I'm really going to have to look closely at what significant difference there really is from this Android Wear device to another one, because as far as I can tell, no one has really done with Android Wear what they've done with Android, where they try to enhance the experience, for better or for worse. So to me, it really seems like up till now, up until now, one Android Wear watch is kind of an Android Wear watch. And you know what? I probably won't be doing it until after I do the Apple Watch again anyway, because watchOS 2 just dropped, and I will be doing an iPhone 6s review. So I'll be using those two devices together in the meantime. Nick is giving me updates, which is totally the most professional thing for the on-screen talent to be doing in the middle of a video podcast.
Yes.
But
I'm getting close to my thing.
Doesn't the show look great? I think it looks great.
I think you look great.
I think you look great. I think we both look great. And check this out. I had so many people whining about the plosives that I have installed a pop filter. So the audio should actually be better this week too. Now, I did run around before the show and try to find my arm mount so that we could have a suspension mount for the microphone. For now, we're settling with a folded up t-shirt under it, but that'll come. That'll come eventually. We are finally in what I believe will be the WAN show's forever home. This computer needs to be reformatted.
Yeah.
But this equipment actually, see, we even put a sticker on it.
We should maybe get a desk that's not as gross.
I kind of like it, because the background's kind of gross too.
Oh.
Well, we can change it. I kind of want like a wood top desk.
I think the screen has far too much real estate as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can tweak things.
Because like my head gets chopped off by the logo.
That was always me.
Your head got chopped off?
My head always had the logo on it.
Really?
Yeah, on the couch.
Oh.
Yeah, it totally did.
That seems silly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, either way, we shouldn't probably have the screen taking up that much space.
Oh, why were these rejected?
But it's all right.
Reason too boring. Who determines whether news is boring or not?
That's pretty boring.
I'm doing that. You know what? You're boring. You're boring.
Wow.
Okay, sponsors. Lynda.com. A huge shout out to Lynda.com for sponsoring the WAN show. And you know what? This actually is only semi-related to Lynda.com, but my wife was talking to me because I actually brought this up on the WAN show. It's something I talked to my wife about a fair bit, and that is limiting screen time for my kids.
Okay.
And she kind of goes, well, hold on a second. Like, my son actually, he's 3, and he is almost reading. Like, he can actually read fairly simple words
Is that good?
that he's never seen before. Yes.
Okay.
So at his preschool orientation, the teacher said that she had a student once that knew the entire alphabet. So my son has known the entire alphabet and all of the phonetic letters of and all the phonetic sounds of the letters since he was 2. And that is in huge part thanks to YouTube. YouTube is a great teaching tool. And I like to sleep in.
I was going to say like mind games on the DS or there's tons of teaching
Math
stuff on
Blaster. Going
Lynda,
back to my childhood.
Whatever, yeah.
So that's how this ties into Lynda. Anyway, so I'm getting there. So she basically goes, well, hold on a second. So like you talk a lot about the importance of programming and 3D modeling skills in the new world. And I go, yes. And she goes, well, so what? Are you just going to stunt his growth? And I kind of go, no. 1, he's 3. And I really think 3-year-olds don't necessarily need to be working on those skills yet. He could start when he's 4 or 5 or 6. I think at the age he's at right now, he needs to learn other things. Like my son doesn't have trouble sitting still. I don't need him to learn how to sit still.
It's actually like, he's like military trained.
It's
really impressive.
If you're like, little man, sit there, do this for a bit. He goes, he sits, he does it.
He has to then unlock him.
Yeah. So I want him working on, going to Stay and Play, which is a local program where you just go and like run around and throw balls with other kids and stuff like that. Those are the skills that he needs to work on right now. And it's one of those things where there is no hard and fast rule. You have to tailor the approach depending on the kid. And I don't think he needs a ton of screen time right now, period. But that doesn't mean that I don't want him, because he's gonna hit kindergarten already knowing probably up to multiplication and division. Like, he's a smart kid. And so kindergarten is going to be a super duper waste of his time. So when he comes home, I don't expect him to do his, yellow plus blue equals green homework. That's stupid. He knows that stuff already. I expect him to be working on computer skills.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have fallen behind. I have spent the last 10 years of my life working on product management and business and online content creation. And it's not like I don't have technology skills, but Luke can attest to this. I am embarrassing when it comes to any kind of programming. Like, I can barely bold and unbold something in a text editor, okay? Like, I can, but barely.
Like, can't claim much either. But yeah.
But you went to school for it at least, like, something.
Yeah, but like the game's changed a bit. And like a lot of what I went to school for, where I like wasn't working full time with you and not really going to school as much as I should have maybe been, was a little bit more antiquated stuff that no one's really using anymore.
So I do want him working on that stuff, and it's a great opportunity. This is one of the things that a lot of parents do, is it's like, this is my second crack at learning this stuff with my kids, because it'll keep us talking the same language, and it'll be an opportunity for me to bond with my kid, which I have to do anyway, and pick up some new skills while I'm at it. So this finally ties in to lynda.com. A great resource for learning things online, whether it's programming or video editing skills.
And what's cool about this is, say you were deciding to give your kid X amount of time to learn whatever he wants, but he has to learn something on the computer. He could go on Lynda and look up so much stuff.
Yep.
And go on his own pace and do whatever. He could download them onto his phone or whatever he wanted. Or watch it
he could even do the like Kitty Boo version. Kids' first 3D modeling program. And if I'm trying to follow along with him, I'll have a deep enough understanding that I can help him with these things as well. Like, that's what I really want, because I look at the curriculum, at least here in Canada anyway, and it seems like we're really falling behind. There's nothing in the news about Canadian schools looking at introducing programming to young kids. And it feels like this is the kind of thing that they did a good job with our generation. I learned how to use a spreadsheet and how to use, Office applications and how to use a printer, like skills that we take for granted now, not because they happened by magic, but because they freaking covered it. Yeah. We had access to the equipment. Like, my wife was like, oh, this school's getting a 3D printer. It seems expensive. I'm like, well, yeah. How much do you think the computer lab cost at your elementary school?
So much.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they were investing in it.
Apple was sponsoring entire schools at that point.
I know. And there's... And that is a thing, but that doesn't mean they didn't spend anything on it.
Yep.
It doesn't mean they didn't spend the resources on hiring or training the teachers to be covering this stuff. And did they do a perfect job? No, but it's better than nothing.
And at least you like inspire the kids, and then they can go home or go somewhere else and learn from there. Because like, I know a lot of people that as long as they're introduced to a topic, if they're truly that interested, they can go the rest of the way.
And they kind of have to.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to get really good at anything. So anyway, lynda.com is going to be my tool to keep in touch, I guess, with what my kids are up to. It starts at only $25 a month, and you can get a 10-day free trial at lynda.com/WAN show. You can learn all kinds of great stuff, and I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about that. That was the longest sponsor spot we've ever done. What are you doing?
The watermark's gone.
Oh yes, the watermark is gone during the sponsor spots.
That's so weird.
because I didn't put it in. So learn to deal. Our second sponsor today is one that I sincerely hope I get to experience with my kids someday. Well, not both of them. Well, I guess there are things that girls can shave, but
like their legs.
Like their legs. But in the context of my children, I really don't, like, I'm not gonna. It's a father-son thing, shaving the face.
I got it.
It's nothing to do with daughters. If they're gonna shave their legs, don't they learn that on their own? Oh no, they learn that kind of crap with their girlfriends, right?
I don't. Why are you asking me?
I don't know. Like, I would ask the ladies in the audience to tell me, like, you know,
or their mom.
I don't know. Do mom and daughter get together and like shave their legs?
You could show her how to shave like her shin.
Shin?
Wear shorts. Or
yeah,
something.
I don't know, man. Anyway, without getting into too much
like,
detail,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, hey mom, my dress is catching on my shin hair. I don't know.
Dress? My dress. Do you even know any females?
Oh, no,
my
really.
dress is catching on my shin hair.
Not really. No, I don't. Let's move on.
Can we update Harry Potter's speech bubble?
My probably.
We need like a Ron Weasley. It's not a dress, it's a robe. Or like a Hermione.
We should get the whole team and just speech bubble all of them, and they can just mock me all the time.
They're expensive.
Really?
That was like $60.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was completely unreasonable.
It's just cardboard.
I know. It's probably a licensing thing though. Like probably $30 of it goes to Joan Rowling. Yeah.
That's definitely the movie asset thing. Like that's on a poster somewhere.
So anyway, these are the worst sponsor spots we've ever done, but
or the best.
Whatever. The point is, Dollar Shave Club. I want to use Dollar Shave Club razors to shave with my son because they're high quality, they're affordable, and they ship them directly to your door once a month. You know what Dollar Shave Club needs? Okay, this is a suggestion. I hope Dollar Shave Club is watching this because they've got a lot of great products. They've got the razors, they've got the aftershave, they've got the shave butter, and they've got the One Wipe Charlies. So you can clean up the look of your face, you can clean up the smell of your face, you can clean up both the look and smell of your butthole. But what you can't maintain with Dollar Shave Club, and what I would argue is just as important, if not more so, to have delivered monthly, your armpits. Dollar Shave Club needs to add deodorant to their arsenal because there should be no excuse for smelling bad. And that's what Dollar Shave Club is all about. You don't have to leave the house to look like you're presentable enough to leave the house.
You know One Wipe Charlies?
Yes.
They need to make it like one armpit de-smeller Charlies.
That could even work.
Because you keep it in the car or something and then you're like, crap, I forgot.
Yes.
You could be like, all right, well, this date isn't going to fail. I got this.
Like a sponge bath Charlie or something like that.
Kinda.
Anyway,
Yeah.
The point is, dollarshaveclub.com/Linus. Join the club if you always want to look presentable and always shave with a fresh razor so you can do a good job and all that kind of stuff. And it's affordable and they deliver it to your house and stuff. All right. So we've got probably a fair bit more to talk about on the show here today, even though technically like it's 6:15, but we did start pretty late.
Not like I have anything to do.
This is a pretty big deal.
It's okay. Keep
That's
going.
not really funny.
Just keep going.
So I've had a lot of comments, or I've seen a lot of comments about people calling ASETEK. Remember, they were the original LCLC, the low-cost liquid cooler.
Just the best name.
I know. Before they partnered with everyone under the sun, Corsair and NZXT and like all these guys to co-brand their LCLC product. And I've had a lot of people running around calling ASETEK a patent troll for protecting their intellectual property in the US, their idea, their patent of putting a pump on a CPU block. This is not trolling. So it has now been upheld.
They got pretty roughly ripped off.
They did.
Like a lot.
They did. And it didn't happen right away, but now that it's happening, they are pretty aggressively going after, first it was Coolit, and now it is Cooler Master, and they are seeking First it was Coolit, then it was SwiftTech, and now it's Cooler Master, or whatever the order it happened in. I don't care. So they are seeking damages for people ripping off their idea and their design, and now it has been confirmed. So not just once, but twice. ASETEK has won their patent infringement case against CMI, a subsidiary of Cooler Master. So the first time around, they were awarded a 14.5% royalty rate on every infringing Cooler Master product being sold. CMI demanded a judgment as a matter of law and a new trial. And they have now been awarded enhanced damages of 25.375% per unit. So for all revenues on infringing products starting January 1st, 2015. It is still appealable by CMI, but I really gotta wonder if they're gonna go back for more at this point. Do I like that this patent doesn't allow anyone to put a pump on a block?
No.
And this is in the US, to be clear. Like in Canada, these products are still for sale. Do I like that? Not really. It does stifle innovation. Do I believe that there was a ton of innovation to be done in the all-in-one liquid cooler? Not really. The performance hasn't really changed dramatically in the last 5 years.
How big is your radiator?
If we had a product that worked fine and was a reasonable price, and ASETEK was selling it and they were making their margin, and Corsair was rebranding it and they were making their margin, and we had an ecosystem that kind of worked, and it was, you know, the consumers were happy to pay that price. Does anyone benefit from someone coming in and doing something very similar and infringing someone else's patent? I don't know. That is getting into some pretty and like, to be clear, like there is similar and then there is very similar, and I can't find the link now, unfortunately, but I saw an internal shot of one of Cooler Master's CPU block / pump combo units and ASETEK's, and wow, is the construction really close. Because the reality of it is, in software, you can go closed source, okay? In chip design, you can not really show people, you know, how it's all working, and you can hide a lot of special sauce. But physical products, patents are the only thing that protects it. It's the only thing that prevents, you know, someone from saying, "Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. I'll just make that exact thing."
Yeah.
Yay, now I have it. And also it's cheaper because I didn't have to do any R&D work. I didn't have to lay the groundwork for the acceptance of this product, because that was a real thing. I was around when the LCLC first launched. I was one of the first people to order them. And not order one personally, but to order them for stock. I sat in the NCIX warehouse for days and took bulk orders of LCLCs and repackaged them into boxes. I had to like cut the packing material to size. I had to baggy all the mounting screws because it was designed for OEMs and system integrators. And I turned the LCLC into a retail product before anyone else. I was there, and I know that the beginning wasn't smooth. It wasn't always as simple as, hey, we'll bring this product to market and a bajillion people will buy it. ASETEK invested in making this a viable product category, and Cooler Master didn't. At least not then, and certainly not to the same extent. So I get it. But I mean, it does suck that, you know, it's like, competition is good, and I'm not saying competition is ever bad. I'm just saying there's another side to the coin, and it does look like the court was right in this case. I do not consider ASETEK to be a patent troll, especially because the technology that they're patenting is something that they're actively selling and have, as far as I've been able to tell, been somewhat reasonable about. So it's not like you can't buy it. They're not just, it's not like that bullshit that happened to Puget Systems where some guy,
yeah, wow.
some guy patented something to do with mineral oil submersion computers, and then basically prevented Puget Systems from being able to sell their kit right around the time that we did our mineral oil build log. That was bullshit, because that company is not selling it. It was not a viable business idea that they had in the first place. They went under, and now they're just sitting around being a patent troll. ASETEK's not being a troll.
Literally one person. Like, no one else was doing this, and it was a very small passion project thing. They weren't really making money. No.
Like man, the call that I had
was
with
so depressing.
Puget was so depressing. He was just like, yeah, so bad news. Your last video is going up. That's cool. That's great. We actually cannot sell these anymore. So, yeah.
Rip.
Like, you know, this is something we've been working on for like 8 years or whatever, just because we think it's cool.
Done a really good job on it. They're the reason why I got into it. I saw one of their really early systems, possibly their first one, at PAX way back in the day, and was like, what the hell is that? I even remember very specifically grabbing the display cable and tracing it with my hand to like make sure that it was actually doing what I thought it was.
Yep.
Because I didn't believe it at all. And then talked to the dude for like a while, and then was totally super interested, and then went and did my own thing, and like, yeah. So
and then went and
I'm
got
pretty buddies with them.
A million views on YouTube of your rig that you built based on that encounter.
Yeah.
Yep, 1.1 million. There it is. So this is, for those of you who haven't seen it. Oh no, sorry. No, 1.1 million is our project.
Yeah, yeah.
The poor. Yeah, of course. That's going to be the one. So no, but it's still, that's almost 1 million views.
And that's back in the day too.
So this is Luke's rig that he built based on that cool encounter with Puget Systems.
I ended up buying like the same fish tank that they did. I found it at freaking PetSmart near my parents' house. Like, this was super cool and like hella inspired by them. I just couldn't pay the import duties over the border.
Yeah, it is expensive.
Like, yeah, so like it's a lot of exactly what they did, to be completely honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lame for anyone whose name is Cooler Master.
Yep.
You know, but let's see. Yeah, this is kind of scary. It could impact the Fury X.
Yeah.
Because those are using an infringing design with the pump and block integrated. So it's going to be an interesting little bit. It doesn't look like EK's new design infringes on it, because it integrates the pump into the radiator, which hurts case compatibility. So I can understand why not everyone does it, but there you go. All right, next up, this is going to be cool for the film equipment buffs. Red's new Raven camera will start at $6,000 and shoot 4K up to 120 frames per second. Now, I'm going to run through a few things here that are pretty cool. So it uses the Dragon sensor. So this is by far the lowest cost you've been able to get at a Dragon sensor. It's available with an EF mount, so you can use your Canon lenses. Cool. It takes mini mags, which are their proprietary media. Very expensive, which I guess is leading into how things are starting to happen.
I love their naming
here.
for things.
It has a nice lightweight construction. It's relatively small. It's got the same body as the weapon. All the weapon modules work. It has built-in Wi-Fi. It has a built-in microphone, which is useful for audio syncing, if nothing else, even if it's not going to be like a good quality one.
Yep.
But this No Film School sub-headline here is the gotcha here. While the body is $6,000, the way that Red sells their bodies, and I'm going to see if I can find a picture of the body here. Yeah, there it is. The way that Red sells their bodies is with nothing on it. This has no display. It has no actual on-camera buttons to control it. It has no XLR audio input.
I kind of love it. It's just so absurd.
It has nothing. It is the brain.
For someone like Brandon, who really loves doing these really intricate configurations of things, I'm sure he would love that.
Yes, but there are certain things that should really be on the camera.
No, I'm not trying to get into his head buying a Red. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, well, I don't think Brandon even wants one. Hey, Brandon, do you even want a Raven? He says not for our stuff, because there's a lot of issues. Like, it's cool that it can record ProRes, which is awesome. But there's the fact that you're locked into this proprietary media, the fact that once you've bought into the Red ecosystem, you've got all these accessories and like batteries and all this stuff that's just straight up not useful for other things necessarily. And it looks like it's going to cost you at least 10 grand to get started as opposed to 6 grand. And realistically, if you want to add some of the modules that you're probably going to need, you're looking at closer to $15,000. So it's not actually that competitive with some of the newer cameras out from the likes of Sony, for example. But it's red. But it's red, and it's the cheapest we've seen from them yet for a flagship sensor. Like, that is an impressive sensor. I think it's something like 15.5 stops of dynamic range, I want to say.
And like,
sorry, 16. Thank you, Brandon.
Like when your storage device gets full, you can ask if anyone has any spare mags.
Okay, I know you don't know about camera stuff, and that's fine, but zip it.
What? No, they're called mini mags.
I know.
I literally said an accurate statement.
I know, but you're just trolling me.
Yes. I didn't even say anything wrong. You're a dick.
So this is cool. It does 1080p at up to 240 frames per second. So what I like about this camera is that at least this starts to put some heat on the other guys to come up with a competitor for the FS700. We've had an FS700 for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
And there is still literally nothing else that is an obvious direct successor to that camera, because there are other ones like the A7R series that do really great low light. There's cameras with better on-camera storage now. That's a big thing. CFast is the new industry standard and is going to be way better than the FS700. Only has SD cards. You have to have an external recorder to use SSDs. There's stuff like way more stops of dynamic range, and this is happening from Blackmagic, from Sony, from a lot of different guys. But the FS700 has been almost unique in its ability to record 240 FPS slow-mo, now continuously with the third-party external recorder, and just for a lot of the balance of features that it has been difficult to touch for a long time. And it's finally happening, and I hope this continues to light fires under the butts of the other camera makers out there. Speaking of other camera makers, Blackmagic is sending us an Ursa Mini, and Brandon will be doing, for the first time, a camera review. So stay tuned for that, because I know he is pretty stoked on it, and I believe he's going to do a great job.
I believe in you, Brandon.
Man, there's a lot of stuff that I would really like to do
start?
Pretty quickly here. I don't know.
Did you send out a tweet?
I think around 5. I want to say around 5. Oh. Why don't we just do everything left as like rapid fire topics?
Okay.
So here, do you want to do the first one here?
I've read nothing.
Okay. AMD preparing dual GPU Radeon R9 Fury X2, world's fastest graphics card.
Rip.
So, original article there is, sorry, I have 2 mice in front of me, so it's hard to remember which is which.
You know how I'm always kind of salty about SLI or Crossfire on the show?
Yes.
You know how I recently started SLIing 980s?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you know the day that I hooked that up, I had a huge, drawn-out problem that was unfixable for 24 hours?
Was it related to SLI?
I hooked my 980s together just before a stream. Started playing games and stuff and was like, okay, cool. This was my 24-hour charity stream. Started playing games. Everything worked fine. I was performing really well. I was like, great, this is awesome. Everything's working. Maybe I'm too salty about this stuff. I remember specifically thinking
it is better
maybe
now.
I'm too hard on SLI.
And it is better now.
And Crossfire.
Yeah.
Not while you're streaming. Not really a thing. Has a huge problem with it. So tons of games I couldn't properly play. Rip. And the thing was, I was doing a 24-hour charity stream.
I know Total Biscuit runs SLI.
Does he live stream while he's running SLI?
I don't know that.
Because a lot of the guys, maybe I was doing something wrong. I know a lot of the guys.
Did you check with Sevidus?
I don't know if he SLIs.
Okay, interesting.
I was, apparently people were talking, apparently, I don't know. There's might be ways around it. There might be, I don't know. All I know was it was a problem for me, and I couldn't change or fix those things because I couldn't stop or restart the stream.
Right.
So I was doing a 24-hour charity stream. So there might have been some fix that I could have ran. something, I don't know.
And we've run into some other dual GPU related issues too. Without giving away anything, I will say, no, I can't give away. No. Don't say anything. Don't say anything about it.
A lot of these guys are using capture boxes that are then streaming.
Right.
So it wouldn't matter.
Which is an option.
Yeah,
but,
and then it wouldn't matter.
Okay, well, actually, one thing I can say about it, though, is an issue that I have, particularly with AMD's implementation of Crossfire, is that you actually can't turn it off on a dual GPU card. You can't just turn it off. There is a tool, I forget what it's called, Catalyst Pro or Radeon Pro or something like that, where I think you can force it off, but even that is not necessarily a perfect solution. Seagate has come out and said, this actually happened a couple of weeks ago, but I just liked it so much that I wanted to do it. SSDs will never match the per gigabyte costs of hard drives. Okay, well, we'll see. So he's saying something, $1 per gigabyte in the upper to 20 to 1 and something.
Will hard drives match the performance of SSDs?
No, they won't, but that's not the point necessarily.
Wow. So interest.
Yeah, so I guess there's not really much else to say about that. I just wanted to document that was said as thoroughly as possible.
Very
because,
statement.
Yeah, much confident. Oculus VR is getting Twitch streaming soon.
What?
Netflix today. And I believe this article is from yesterday. So yesterday. So yeah, they're going to set up, like, check this out. You're going to have like a cool, this is actually Hulu, but you're going to have like a cool little theater you can sit in. It'll be like a virtual theater experience. That is some BA stuff right there. So Oculus owners have a lot to look forward to when they become Oculus owners.
Yeah.
4chan was sold to the creator of 2channel. So in a series of events that was completely unsurprising to everyone, 4chan got attacked through like an Imgur exploit, and like because the 4chan community like that thing happened. DDoS all the things.
Yeah.
So there you go. 4chan was apparently struggling to be profitable, even though they tried a subscription offering and minor advertising and all that kind of stuff, so I get it. Nintendo joins the Khronos group.
An ad's running?
Right now?
Somewhere?
On our stream? Oh, it's probably on one of the sites that we're loading, so let me kill them all. It better not be Twitch. It is not Twitch. I am killing all the ads. There we go. All right, Nintendo has joined Khronos Group as a contributor member. So these are the guys. It was
like a pretty lewd ad, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Some Team America.
Okay, well, let's move on. So these are the guys that are maintaining OpenGL and Vulkan, which Valve has gone all fighting words about and said DirectX 12 doesn't matter. Unless you're like deeply into your DirectX 12 game development now, you should just probably never touch it. And you should just go Vulkan because DirectX 12 doesn't matter. And they have some very good points about DirectX 12 being Windows 10 exclusive, which was such a mistake. I understand that they would have had to do a bunch of work, but like... Oh, and I understand that Windows 10 is a free upgrade for 7 and 8 owners, but like Vulkan is going to work across a lot of different platforms, not even just Windows. So
would you roll back?
Would I roll back to
Windows 7
from 10?
I need to not lean backwards. Yeah, would you roll back to Windows 7 and use Vulkan?
No, because you can use Vulkan on 10.
I know. But would you rather use 7?
No.
Okay.
No, I actually like 10. I like the new start menu.
Yeah, the new start menu is actually great.
I actually really like the new start menu.
Clean.
So anyway, Nintendo joined, which is cool, I guess. Blah 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 blah. This is from WFLX. An Oregon couple trying to resolve a $2 million Verizon cell phone bill. Lol. What else we got? This is really funny. The iPhone 6s put through its paces in Geekbench. The dual-core 6S obliterates the Galaxy S6, Note 5, and other top Android phones in performance testing, apparently. And we've even got some folks running around saying how it's amazing how comparable it is to the 2015 MacBook. Actually, what's amazing is how the 2015 MacBook manages to run at literally half the performance that it could if it wasn't thermal throttling all over the place.
Yes.
I mean, it is still amazing, but like the fact that the MacBook is essentially a tablet in terms of the form factor, like in terms of where they actually stuffed the computer, okay? So think about that for a second. The fact that Apple has been releasing tablets that perform, you know, somewhat better than their phones for years now, that are also tablets and also in that form factor, and the fact that the MacBook is performing literally half as well as that Intel chip is capable of because it's not adequately cooled. So no, yes, the iPhone 6S does look like a whiz-banger of a performer and a wicked phone upgrade.
A whiz-banger of a performer.
Whatever. But the fact that it's on par with the MacBook is not the fact that the Mac, it has nothing to do with the iPhone 6S being amazing. It has to do with the MacBook kind of being a dog. So I'm just throwing that out there, you guys.
I have doom gloom news.
Oh.
We're ready.
Is it? Oh.
Kind of ready.
Okay. All right. So should we do this on WAN show or should we do this as kind of a somber after party and tell people from the WAN show to stick around?
It's up to you.
Okay, let's end the WAN show, and we'll be back very shortly. Stick around, especially if you're a member of the Linus Tech Tips forum. Oh, we were doing so well.
Dollar Shave Club. Is it even there?